Question 5. Do video games bring more happiness to kids than their loving families? What are the real reasons for me and other children in my age group who have good families, caring parents, but they get addicted? Does that mean that games bring more happiness and motivation than our families? Or that kids our age don't understand the happiness of family yet?
Well, I mean, that's a really, really, really good question. And what do I think? There are difficulties which are hard to see, and it's not the parent's fault. If a child gets addicted, it's because there's something missing in their life, but it's not necessarily the parent's fault. Now, it can be. Sometimes the parents are terrible, and it is their fault. But sometimes,
that, please? Story.
Yeah. It's to be addicted requires that a person have a hole in their life. They have a hole in their life, but it's not necessarily their parents' fault. It may not be their parents' fault at all. So kids with good families can get addicted because they've got other kinds of problems.
Addiction by refuge from bullying.
Because like say you would get addicted to playing games and you'd never come out of your room. Well, that would save you from the bullying. Or let's say you would come to school and you would hang around only with the game guys and you guys would just, drive everybody crazy by talking about games all the time.
Differences in culture can lead to addiction.
But suppose people whose Asian origins are not way back. Suppose they just come here
like
very recently. And that's really scary because then the parents, they don't understand Canadian culture.
They'll bring their culture over here and they'll get mixed up.
Exactly. And that's another kind of problem. It's not the parents' fault.
And then they might get bullied by race.
Yes. You see, and it wouldn't be the parents' fault, but there would still be that problem with the child having a life that's a satisfying life, and then they might turn to addiction. You see the point I'm making? I think you do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my answer to your question is your question is how come people can have a good family and still get addicted? Well, there's lots of problems that people have which really aren't the parents' fault. It's not because they don't have a good family. It's because there's all kinds of things which make life is hard. I mean, you probably know that already when you're 10. You'll know it even more when you're 77 like me. Life is hard. And there are lots of problems that people have to deal with, and sometimes they don't deal with them well enough to be reasonably content, and then addiction is a possibility. Because addiction is a kind of a way of protecting yourself.
It's kind of a refuge.
Yeah, a refuge is a perfect yeah.
Like a shield from your emotions.
That's right. Perfect word.
Cool.